Welcome to Wesley Impact. I'm Rev Garner. How important is it to take a moment and reflect on the highs and the lows of the past year? Welcome to Wesley Impact. I'm glad you're able to join us for what is the final episode of the year. We're filming today on site here in the Wesley Centre our Wesley Fair, an annual fundraiser at which Wesley Mission supports various areas of our work. This is the 105th Wesley Fair, and as we do each year, we have opened our doors in downtown Sydney and invited the Wesley Mission family and passers-by to simply join in the fun. They might catch a bacon sandwich, they might come and enjoy things, but volunteers have worked hard to make today possible. Many have used their skills to create items that we have for sale. We also have many other things that are happening with volunteers, taking a closer look at our stalls and people who are helping, and you'll get the chance to do that as we continue in the success of Wesley Fair this year. I'd like to take the opportunity today to reflect on two areas of our work over the past year. Firstly, on Wesley Homeless Services. The funds raised from today's fair will go towards capital work upgrades to Wesley Edward Eager Lodge, a crisis accommodation centre that we operate not far from here really, not far from our centre in Surrey Hills. I'll speak with Vanessa Daniels, a member and manager of that area of our work. I'll also be speaking with the member of our team for whom Wesley Family Services has responsibility, Nigel Lindsay. He's been on Wesley Impact many times before, but this is a different setting for him, as it is for many of us. And I'm looking forward to hearing from him, looking forward to some of the plans that we've got for an exciting year ahead in 2019. There's always so much more happening at Wesley Fair than you imagine. It's as much about community and connection as it is about raising funds to support our work. Let's take a look together at the day so far. It's certainly been a very busy day here in the Wesley Centre, and there's still so much more to come. I mentioned that the funds raised today at our Wesley Fair will go towards capital work upgrades to our Edward Eager Lodge Crisis Accommodation Centre in Sydney. Wesley Mission has been supporting and working with people who are homeless or at risk of homeless since our very beginnings, well over 200 years ago now. As times and needs have changed, so the programmes and the facilities have to also. Let's take a look at the important work of Wesley Edward Eager Lodge.
All of a sudden I just folded, but I didn't want to see my family to see me. I felt embarrassed, shameless, but hurt. You know, fathers don't go to their siblings to, get a pickup. It's been a rough trip, and there are some people out there in the system that care. I wouldn't wish this on anybody. One day you got a life, and one day your life is hell.
Wesley Eagle Lodge has been running since about 1979 and it provides crisis accommodation for men and women.
There's breakfast, morning, afternoon tea and dinner provided for everybody. We don't have a curfew. Everybody has their own privacy in their own room, so they have their own key.
We get phone calls daily. You know, there's people trying to get in here. Just took a phone call from a guy in prison wanting to book into Edward Eagle Lodge. You have to be there for them as well and do it in the right manner.
Not uncommon to meet people who have been rough sleeping for 10 years. You're inclined to put the average around 5 to 6. As a rule of thumb, we generally talk about a year of support beyond homelessness for every year that someone has spent in homelessness.
In order to come out of homelessness, I don't think any one service is the answer. I think if we all join together, it creates a barrier, I guess, for that person not to step back into homelessness.
Our commitment to you is a promise not to pull the rug from under you, and if you meet us halfway, together we're going to make sure that your next move is forward.
When I come in here, it's like I'm supposed to be here. There's a lot of people out there that are homeless, and there's a lot of people that can't handle this kind of thing. Coming here made me open my eyes up for the life that I had. I missed out on all my grandchildren and stuff like that. I see a bit of them, but I think I want to do it properly.
Homelessness reaches everybody, so it's not any one group. When you work in families, your typical family would be mum and the kids experiencing domestic family violence.
A lot of the early intervention work we're doing through South East Sydney is to do with families. A fair amount of rental arrears being paid to save tenancies, sometimes support with bonds for families to move into new tenancies. There is medium-term housing or transitional housing that we provide, supporting people to find tenancies, advocating where we can with real estate agents. Homeless people are easily amongst the most vulnerable in our community. Such a big part of our work is holding onto that hope when people won't or can't. We need to believe that they can have a home of their own.
I'm joined now by a member of the team at Wesley Edward Eagle Lodge in Surrey Hills, a familiar face from the story we've just seen. Vanessa, it's good to have you on the programme.
Thank you.
Vanessa Daniels, you're here in the fair. What do you like to think about the fair, firstly?
Oh, I think it's great. It's very exciting. I've got my eye on the cake stall behind me.
Have you got some money with you?
I do.
One of the things we want to do here is actually divest you of the money, and the reason we do that is because we're trying to support the Edward Eagle Lodge community as we move into the future, and particularly that refurbishment. How needed is that refurbishment?
Oh, look, I think it's really needed. Aesthetically, we can actually increase the value and esteem of people that are coming into the building and just place that extra bit of dignity on them.
Of course, we know that we've got a certain number of people that stay in Edward Eagle Lodge overnight, but it's more than just a place where people stay. Do a lot of other people come into the building or pass through?
Yeah, they do, and I think it's important for people to come in and just access the support. So our team can see residents, the people that are living there, but they can also see people who are really struggling to find a place to live and they're on the streets at the moment.
Yeah, and I think we've said many times, you and I have talked before, about the fact that homelessness is more than what people are on the street, but in point of fact, that is an increasing problem, isn't it, in our city?
Yeah, it is, absolutely. And more young people are starting to, we're starting to notice an increase in numbers around young people and rough sleeping as well. So it's quite a concern.
How excited are you about the fact that we're going to do something with the building?
Oh my gosh, I'm very excited. Oh, I can't wait. I think it's been a long time coming, and it's really another way of placing value and dignity on the people that are living there, but also the staff coming into such a bright and new refurbished environment is just as encouraging.
Look, and I have to say that when and this is only one person that said to me, but I suspect a number of people do think this kind of thing. I said that when we do refurbish the building, there will be a shower and a toilet and facility. And someone said, well, do people need that kind of thing? I mean, you have to almost be calm about a response to that, don't you?
Yeah.
But what would you really feel to that kind of question yourself?
Look, I think it's really about raising social awareness and really having them understand that people can't access public bathrooms after 5 o'clock. They can't necessarily have a space to shower, or there's not a place for them to brush their teeth even. So those kind of basic and essential facilities are really important.
And you know, and I know, that over the last few years we've been looking all around the city to say, is there a place where we could actually rebuild or do something new? And we couldn't find that. And I think it's so important that we stay in the city. Do you think that's important?
Yes, I agree. I think too many people come into town seeking anonymity or seeking to leave the environment that they've been in, so domestic and family violence, or there's a trauma in their hometown. They're not really going to want to stay there. So being able to provide a service in town is quite important.
Where there's been domestic abuse or where somebody's been in prison, people don't always like this, but I'm not afraid to talk about it. The fact that sometimes people need to rebuild their lives after times of sadness, and they're attracted to go to a city for exactly the same reason you've just said. Anonymity, individuals can find identity once again. And looking back over your time at Edward Eagle Lodge, what would you say some of the high moments have been?
Oh, I think there's quite a few high moments. In particular, we've had a number of people come into Edward Eagle Lodge, find a property, and the last couple of months in particular really start to flourish and call it a home. They've started to prepare themselves for study and employment, so they're really taking ownership of this new season of life for them. So that's been the most exciting thing.
And there's a spiritual dimension to all of that too. We want people to know Christ, and we want them to feel that. And how important is that to you?
Oh, that's very important for me. I don't believe that we can do the works that we have without our faith, and I think if we can put our faith into action, it's just another way of meeting the need for the people.
Well, we're going to be excited to stand with you at Edward Eagle Lodge these next 2 years as we start that really important project, and we wish you well with it. And I'm just grateful that you've joined us today, and I hope that I can see for sure that you've got a bag of cakes before you leave this building that you've bought and you can take home and enjoy. So thank you for sharing with us something of the important work of Edward Eagle Lodge. And to those of you that are sharing with us in this program, we talk about it so often because it's one of those areas of work that I'm passionate about, and I believe that we at Wesley Mission will continue to be passionate about in the future. So we look forward to the year that lies ahead as well as the year that's now ending.
The moon and stars, they wept. The morning sun was dead. The Savior of the world was fallen. His body on the cross, His blood poured out for us. The weight of every curse upon Him. One final breath He gave as heaven looked away. The Son of God was laid in darkness. A battle in the grave, a war on death was waged. The power of hell forever broken. The ground began to shake. The storm was rolled away. His perfect love could not be overcome. And now death, where is your sting? Our resurrected King has rendered you defeated. And now forever He is glorified. Forever He
I'm joined now by one of my colleagues at Wesley Mission from our family services work, Nigel Lindsay. Nigel, it's good to see you.
Thanks, Keith.
You've been here many, many times at Wesley Fair, haven't you, really, over the years? And you're taking another day off to enjoy yourself here today.
It's always a fun time to come down to Wesley Fair.
Yeah. So what do you like to do? Eat or what?
Well, I went downstairs, saw some toys. I think the kids will go right for Christmas, but those chocolate cookies over there, I've got my eye on.
Oh, very good indeed. Clearly, I've been talking earlier in the show about the work at Edward Eagle Lodge because that's the special project of Wesley Fair. But you've got responsibility for the whole of family services. I mean, what does that mean, really? Just trying to explain that, because it could look as though it's just about a nuclear family. I mean, what does it mean to be looking after family services?
Sure, so it's pretty broad. So you talked about Edward Eagle Lodge, so that's our homeless services there, so that fits into there. We've got our counselling programs. We've got our foster care and adoption programs, which is quite a large area of our work. Also our prevention programs, and a whole lot of things fit into that.
Look, I think the adoption one's worth just talking about for a moment, because we've been involved in foster care for a long time. And it used to be very hard to go down the road of adoption, and it still is hard. But I'm pleased at some of the changes that are coming about. Do you feel a bit that way about the fact that they're talking now about making it a little easier for people to go down the road of adoption?
Yeah, absolutely. So the sector's moved on to, it's about permanency. So if you've got a child in care, we're trying to make permanent decisions as soon as possible and a really good outcome. Yeah. So obviously we start with keeping them at home if we can, restoration if that's not the case. What's the next best permanent option? Adoption. Yeah.
And even adoption doesn't mean that you eradicate a family from the past, does it? It means it's got that there. How has the work evolved over the years in terms of family and community services? How is it?
Well, even when I started, so I started in Wesley 20 odd years ago, even then it was very much...
Is that all?
24 years ago. We, even when I started then, it was group homes, it was... wasn't supportive work of our families. These days it's really about how can we treat the family as part of the community and keep that family as intact as possible. And if children do come into care, we try and restore them back home. We work with their families.
And it's more than just doing a job for government, isn't it? It's a case of really creating family contexts in which people can meaningfully.
That's right. I talk to my team about that funding doesn't tell you what to do, it enables you to do what you do. And we've got our own vision of what we think community should look like, and our funding helps us do that, but we've certainly got our own ethos in that sort of work.
And from the earliest days, the Christian work at Dalmar, which is like a name synonymous with the work that we do, we don't eradicate that. It's Wesley Dalmar still.
That's correct, yes.
That we hold.
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah. Now, what about this homelessness? Because I've been talking to people about it now, Veronica and other people, and talking to them, and Vanessa, and saying to them, what does it really mean to be engaged in homelessness? How do you see that from this bigger perspective? Because you've got a general oversight of it.
I do. It's certainly part of the work I do. I've got some great people like Vanessa that are very operational. Yeah. It's really about providing as much dignity as we can to people and helping them solve their homeless issues, but treat them as the individual person that they are.
And you've gone obviously through many different hoops to be where you are today. You know, you came to start a youth worker, was that right?
Correct. Yes, you got a good memory.
Yeah, youth worker. I'm a lot younger than you, of course. You realise that. The truth is that now you have that oversight, but it is different, isn't it? You know, from the perspective that you're at now, like I am at, when you're at management, you know that you've got to keep your eye on making sure it works, that it's financially viable. But in the end, we're still concerned about Christian care, aren't we?
Absolutely, we are. And the biggest change for me as my career's gone on, and I'm less hands-on, which I do miss. It's the amount of trust you have to have other people to fulfil those sorts of roles that you normally would do yourself, and letting go of that's quite hard. But I think I bring a particular a way of work that I've done a lot of that work, so I think I'm well placed to lead that.
And I think if trust isn't painful, you're not really doing it right. It must be a bit painful because you're concerned about the people you're entrusting to folks, aren't you, in that way? What about 2019? Any special exciting things ahead?
Well, we're still looking forward to the Edward Eagle Lodge redevelopment happening, so we're very excited about that.
You, me too.
So really, and so's the whole team. Like that's one of the big highlights for them. The other one for me is also our adoption. We're looking for adoption accreditation, so we're hoping that'll come through by then. We can still do adoptions now, but
through the government, if you like it, if I say it that way.
we do. So we did 13 adoptions last financial year, and I expect that's going to probably double over the next financial year as we become that accredited agency. It's quite exciting work for us.
So this great family occasion at Wesley Mission, I want to thank you for the work that you do, and the troops with you, you know, because they're the ones who really do the work, aren't they? The face-to-face workers, the operational delivery people. Thank you, thank God for them and the work that they do. And I do hope that 2019 is fulfilling for you and gives you the opportunity to see new and exciting things develop as the time moves on. So I'm pleased about that. As I mentioned, Wesley Fair is very much a community activity of Wesley Mission, where people from all across the Wesley Mission family come together for a common purpose. Let's take a look now at some more of the fun and activities of today's Wesley Fair.
Wesley Fair is our annual event where we get people to come into the centre and really get involved in the work of Wesley Mission. The primary purpose is about raising funds and really having an opportunity to showcase what we do.
I've bought heaps of fashion, I've bought heaps of cookbooks, I've had crepes, I got outbid in the auction, so I'll keep trying.
So we are cooking today for Wesley Mission. We've got sweet crepes. We do sugar, lemon and Nutella. Bon appétit.
When I was a boy, my great-grandfather used to say to me that if I went in the town centre, I would find a man with as many noses as there were days of the year left. And I was only a little boy then, I didn't really understand it properly. But I think it reminds me that as we come to the end of the year, time is moving on, and we're given that opportunity to look back and look forward. And that's a good Christian thing to do, because we reflect in a meaningful way on the importance of our lives, on the journeys that we're making, and the things that have made for our life this year. I have no doubt that the words that I'm speaking are heard by people who've known sadness this year. Equally, I know that these words will be heard by people for whom it's been a joyous year. So whether it's joyous or whether it's sad, as we come to the end of the year, let's be thankful for the things that God has given to us, the opportunities that life has afforded to us. And as we look back with the people of God down every century that have tried to understand that they're on a journey and that God is with them on that journey, opening up the future day by day for them. As we look to the future, and a lot of people do this at this time of the year, they say, oh, I'm hoping for this, I'm hoping for that. They even make wishes and New Year resolutions, we call them. But you know, it's not really about New Year resolutions, it's about grasping the hope that is ours in Jesus Christ. That hope is a real hope. It's meaningful, it's purposeful. And together we grasp it and we take it with both hands in all the opportunity that lies there. You don't know, as the pages are turned, what tomorrow is going to bring for you. But you can be assured of that biblical truth, that this is the day of the Lord. This is the time when His blessing, His power, and His grace is meaningful and real for you. So I thank you for joining us throughout the year on this wonderful program of Wesley Impact that we share together. I've been grateful for all the letters that I've received, for the contact that has been with people in all kinds of places. I've had letters from people in hospitals, prisons, from places where they haven't had to make their own choices. They've often been made for them. But as we look to the future, let's make our own choice that we are going to place our hands into the hands of God, to place our lives into His pathway and see what the future really holds for us.
If you would like to contact Keith and find out more about today's program, write to us at Wesley Mission, Post Office Box A 5555, Sydney South 1235, or you can send us an email to impacttv@wesleymission.org.au. On our website, you can catch up on past episodes of Wesley Impact, find out more about our work, read online magazines and articles, and connect with us on social media. You can also connect through Keith's blog and stay up to date on all the latest news and information from Wesley Mission, wesleymission.org.au.
May God bless you. I hope you're going to join us next year. We've got lots of exciting things that are planned for you in this program. I'm thankful to my team and for all those that help us. And today, especially, that we've been here in the Wesley Centre to gather some of those thoughts as we come towards the end of a year. May God richly bless you with peace, with his presence, and with his grace. God bless you.
Wesley Mission walks alongside people of all ages struggling with homelessness, addictions, mental health issues and financial stress. To find out more, visit wesleymission.org.au.